Seeing TikToks every fucking day about unemployment, bro. Do y'all know how it fucking feels to apply for a job that you're not even 2 fucking minutes away from by walk? I can see my job right now from my fucking house. I've been rained on trying to get this fucking job. I called them earlier. They're like, yeah, I can do an interview for you fucking today. Come back at 5 o'clock. It's 5 fucking 30 right now. I go to this job. Why the fuck is it so hard to get a job to the point where I'm literally standing there for 10 fucking minutes getting rained on at the fucking job? Just for these niggas to look at me through the fucking window, watching me getting rained on, and to tell me to come back tomorrow. Do y'all know how many times I've had to wait for tomorrow to come? And these motherfuckers will still not hire me. It is the worst fucking day possible. It has never rained this bad, and I feel like my prayers are never getting answered. To just get a fucking job. To the point where it's raining so fucking hard, all my clothes are wet. Talk about unemployment. Talk about how hard it is to get a fucking job. Asking God, begging God to fucking help me. Just to keep getting shut down over and over again. And yes, nigga, I'm making a fucking TikTok about it because there's nothing else for me to do. I spend all my fucking days sitting at the fucking house doing nothing. Doing absolutely nothing. So yes, this is a fucking mental breakdown on my fucking phone. Because of how hard it is out here. I'm a fucking...
I'm gonna have to cut him off in the middle of his. Oh man, that's wild. It looks like he is about to take it to the next. He was about to ascend to Super Saiyan 3 for the next half. But listen, I like this. I don't like the fact of what he's going through, but I come across a lot of younger guys that don't want to work. And this dude, he want to work bad. He wants to work bad, and he putting his money where his mouth is. He walking in the rain, and so he has desire. He has desire, but he doesn't have desire of what a lot of other people have desires, where they want to take a trip. They just desire to take a trip. They want the most expensive makeup. They want a new Dodge Challenger, but they're not working for it. No, he has desires to work, not just for things and outcomes that he didn't work for. So this is good. This is a good little buildup. I know it's hard, but there's something that typically comes on the end of suffering that is beautiful, because you're going to have this frame of reference of how bad you wanted it. And when things just weren't going your way, when you were trying so hard and you just couldn't figure it out, as well as just whatever your circumstances are externally that you have to deal with, you're going to remember this time. And ultimately, this is energy. Now, he's misplacing it a little bit as far as coming on TikTok. See, I wish we didn't have TikTok. Before TikTok, people would have had to just sit with their discontent, of where their life is, and all that energy would have went towards their thoughts, would have went towards it. Would They would have just continued to build up and ruminate on it to the point to where eventually they would reach what is called a pain threshold, and then they would decide, and then it would reveal to them all the opportunities and maybe all the things that they still aren't doing that they can. I hit that. I remember a long time ago, I hit that, and there was a certain job that I wanted, and I decided I was going to apply to 100 of them across the state, and I wasn't going to stop until I did it. And then that gave me peace of mind. That gave me peace of mind because now I knew until I did 100, I wasn't gonna then the work wasn't done, so I couldn't feel bad for myself. I came up with a way to make it to where it would damn near be impossible for me not to get it, but I had to come through on my side. But when you come on TikTok, you're really just wasting a lot of that energy that could have went towards you thinking and you evaluating and you ultimately getting tired and then figuring out what would make it impossible to get what you want. But let's get back into it, y'all. If you could like the video, I greatly appreciate it. It only takes a second and it actually helps out more than you know. And also if you could hype. Again, though, if you could like, you know, it's only a click. That's all it is. But let's get back into it.
Doing absolutely nothing. So yes, this is a fucking mental breakdown on my fucking phone. Because of how hard it is out here. I'm a fucking college student. I pay my own fucking tuition. And it is still hard to get a fucking job out here. It don't make no fucking sense. Just to get rained on. While praying to God about finding me a job so I can provide for myself. So yes, I see everybody posting about how hard it is to get a fucking job. Look at me getting rained on. After this company just told me, oh yeah, we got you with an interview, come back in 30 minutes. I'm here at your door every day. My job is so close, this job is so close to my house. I am looking right at it from my house right now. Talk about being overqualified. Talk about not being qualified enough. I can see y'all from my house. That is how close I am to y'all. But y'all sit here and go through these applications and swear to God I'm not qualified. When I am right here, coming up.
I'm not gonna lie, I would have gave this dude a job. He talking about I can see y'all from my house. I didn't want to say it, but he does have a little sprinkle of active shooter energy. So if he'd have said that because he said he's overqualified, so I'm assuming he told y'all that. He said, I can literally see y'all from my house through a scope. I would have said, man, get this dude the job and put him in the good position where he don't got to work that hard.
Every day asking for a job. I've never done this. I've never captured so much fucking emotion, but y'all have no idea how hard it is out here to support yourself. This shit is absolutely fucking crazy. I'm at home every fucking day with my siblings that come home from school. Doing content creation, hoping to God I can just get the fuck out of here. Hoping to God I can support myself. And I would fucking be damned if no matter what I do, nothing is working. This shit is fucking ridiculous, y'all. To sit there waiting to cross the street and getting splashed on by cars constantly. Talk about being underqualified or overqualified or unemployed. This is the fucking worst times I've ever lived in. Just to pay for my fucking tuition and go back to school. Just to pay off this debt. Because I have to constantly take out my fucking Cash App borrow feature to fucking eat. Because I don't have any fucking money. Talk about struggle. Talk about being underqualified and unemployed. This is the fucking struggle right here.
Yeah, you know, I may have to redact what I said. Maybe it is okay for him to come on TikTok. I wouldn't have lashed out as bad as this, but I can see the desire there to work. And he's in school. So it could be potential that maybe someone could share or somebody could come in his comments or DM him with an opportunity in his area. He should have put where he lives because maybe this would be a good way of marketing himself. Because I'm gonna be real. Most people, we see it all the time. We talk about government assistance. Most people don't want to work. Man, This dude wants it bad. And so I would even argue, and I'm not an advocate of this, of trying to get more and extract as much as you can from somebody's life force, right? Everybody else is working at a 30 and you got him working at 100 just because you know how bad he wanted. But I would argue he going to show up and he going to get it done. He going to do the job. And that's rare. And he's going to be dependable. That's one of the hardest things with the younger generation now, just dependability. Man, this dude going to be on time. And he probably ain't even going to mind if you have to have him work a little bit later. He's 2 minutes away from his crib. I feel for him, but I don't feel for him that bad because I know this part of the journey. This is part of the journey. I had moments like this where I wanted it so bad and nothing was working out and nothing was panning out. And now I can think back of that and it gives me peace. And it's incredible. You got to look at it like, because let me tell you something about me. Oh, I started for real from ground zero. You know, when you play a video game, let's just say it's one of those video games where you're a warrior or whatever. And at the beginning of the game, when you start, you just got regular cloth on. You just got regular clothes on. You don't got no armor. You got a little rusty sword. You can't even sheath it. Yeah, that's how I started from ground zero. Had to build it up. Had to build myself up when I got thrusted into life, and that's a blessing in hindsight that I wouldn't want to change anything for the world. And so it seems like he's in a similar situation, but he's growing up at a time when you've got all these distractions and when you have all these things that are pulling for you to ultimately pull from you, are pulling from you to pull from you. Because back when I was coming up, you would have had to sit with that and you would have had to go within. But you got all these things trying to pull you without. And so he's dissipating his energy that would have in prior times been focused on within, and he would have probably understood what he needed to do moving forward. And it would have also energized him and probably made him a little mad and pissed him off. And that would have been great energy, but he just dissipated a lot of that energy that could have been focused on his mission. Her caption says, I ain't even gonna lie, I feel like a loser.
I ain't even gonna lie. I feel like a loser right now. I'm 37, unemployed, and I'm trying to get into a career field by taking the CPC exam. And honestly, I have no idea what I'm doing. But instead of being stressed and depressed about it, I'm gonna start documenting it. So this is day one of me trying to get my life together. So follow along with me. I ain't even
Her caption says, month 5 of unemployment rant.
I've been unemployed for 5 months. At this point, I think I'm in psychosis.
Mm,
Unemployment checks have stopped coming
mm.
because they said I ran out. I'm sorry, I couldn't find a job. Tell the job to stop ghosting me. I've applied for things as high as executive level, and I've applied to be baristas, a grocer at a grocery store. Now I'm door dashing. I just drove for 3.5 hours today, and I made $40, barely, and that's not enough to fill my gas tank up. Cause yeah, I I don't know what to do anymore.
Hmm.
Hang on, they say. To what? I've been unemployed for 5 months.
Yeah, that's tough. That is tough. It is some people going through it as far as the job search. Now, again, me with my experience and me being at rock bottom, I know what it's like to be able to figure it out And again, I would reverse engineer it as far as understanding what's going to make it impossible for me to get a job. But what it sounds like she did was it sounds like she tried for a duration, and then it seems like she just gave up. And so her pipeline's running dry now because she didn't continue the activity. You need to just be consistent, and you need to make the outputs the reward and not the actual outcome. She's focused on the outcome, and that's going to definitely drive you crazy. And here's what I mean, for example. You should feel like you won the day if you say, every day I'm going to put out 25 job applications, and you do that. No matter what the outcome is, every day I'm going to put in 25 applications. She's in month 5 of unemployment, and it looks like, let's just say, for example, the first month she was applying, and then it didn't work out, and then she just did DoorDash, and maybe she got an interview or two. But had she kept going, and let's say on my equation, she did 25 job applications a day. Imagine what that could look like over the course of 5 months if you do that consistently and have those consistent outputs. Then what you can do, see, if you keep going, then you can start to iterate as you go. And so that means you can see what's not effective and you can see what is effective. Maybe you decide, okay, in my market, I'm doing DoorDash. Let me tie these two together. Whenever I'm in a certain area, let me actually go inside the establishment and fill out a job application there and meet the people. You can just continue to figure out whatever you need to do. Maybe let me now start looking up on YouTube or whatever, what are people doing to break through the noise instead of me just applying? People are doing the same thing that's not working, and they're not trying to do things in order to stand out. maybe maybe you decide, hey, in order to really restore people's faith when I'm applying to the executive level positions, maybe I'm going to tell them, hey, I'm so confident you'll make the right decision. I'm willing to come work for free for a week. They probably won't make you do it, but who says that? And I know people are going to eat me alive for that. But when we're talking about weighing something from you having 5 months, almost 6 months, half a year, where you don't have any revenue coming in, when you can get something stable just by working for free for a week, I feel like I'm vindicated. I feel like I'm correct in that you would much rather just work for free for a week than have to go 6 months with no job, DoorDash, and running your car into the ground. And these are just things I'm coming up with off the top of my head. When you really consider it, there's really unlimited possibilities, but you have to be willing to try some other things, and you can't get down on yourself, but that's easier said than done. I'm not going to deny it. That's tough. Her caption says, what being unemployed taught me for a year taught me.
Exactly 1 year ago, my entire life changed. I lost my job and the opportunity to move to Japan, and which is still a situation that's ongoing.
Mhm.
My mom moved to Korea, so she's just not easily acceptable. And I got my heart broken. And 1 year later, I survived. I'm here. But I am still deeply, I don't want to use the word broken, but I definitely still have a lot of healing. That amount of trauma that occurred in the span of 3 days, I still feel it every day. I doubt myself. I still have not had a corporate job in a year. And I used to be queen of get that job. Any job I walk into, hundreds and hundreds of applications. I have not dated.
And not necessarily on purpose. I just haven't really seen, or, someone just captured my attention. I had to move in with my little brother, and so much has happened, but at the same time, so much good things have happened. I have been so creative. I've experienced so many different things. I've gotten to meet people and visit people. It birthed my business. And even though it's still in the soft launch and um, I'm working on some things, I still feel like I had a good life.
This is a slippery slope, though. I'm not going to lie. A year unemployed, you got to make something happen. This can get real bad real fast. I would imagine that she went and applied for assistance as well. And so that might have gave her a level of comfort. I'm sure her brother didn't mind it. They getting some good groceries in the house now. But okay, after a year, then what? This is gonna lend itself to complacency very fast. And she's starting businesses, she's trying to do other things now. You can get very used to not having to work now, and you're training out a lot of those habits, as well as why I say it's going to be a slippery slope is because the longer you have this gap in between your job history, the harder it's actually going to be. If it was hard to find another job right after you lost your job, imagine how hard it's going to be when you have to explain a 1.5 year career gap, a 2 year career gap, 3 year, and it just keeps building on. It's almost going to be like you're obsolete at that point. They're not going to feel confident that because she's talking about corporate job and things are moving very fast. At this point, a lot of corporate jobs have adopted AI, and that is a very big part of their workforce and how they leverage it. So you're missing that. You're missing all the new things that come on, and I'm not saying she can't keep up with that in her personal time, but it's different when you get that and you get to see it in your actual workday and see how it functions and how you can implement it into your workday. And so she probably needs more urgency. And sometimes when you're in an urgent situation, you need to shift your energy. She's very scattered. She's trying to date. She's trying to start a business. She's trying to be on TikTok, and she's trying to apply for jobs. You need to cut everything that's not involving finding a job, and you need to focus your entire energy on finding a job. And then once you have a job, then you can slowly and gradually add those other things back on in order of priority.
Last year, and I think that I'm still going to have a good life. But a lot of my identity was tied to my role, as well as my worth and everything else. And so if you have been unemployed and you are struggling to find a job, you're not alone, and it's okay, and you're gonna feel shitty. There are times where, like, the night before, I make this mental to-do list, or even I write it out, and I'm like super hype and I'm so like ready to like get the day started. And then you wake up the next day and like all of your motivation, all of your like hope, everything is just gone, and it takes everything for you to get out of bed.
Mm.
So I'm refinding.
That's what I was talking about. What'll happen when you go this long without a job? Especially the fact that that just gave insight that she's probably missed days, as far as she's missed days of opportunity, or not opportunity, of activity, because she has probably woken up and just not felt like doing it. And if we're being real, when you don't really have the structure like that anymore, those days are going to be more than not. You'll, because she's relying on motivation. And if you're already in a state where you're not necessarily happy and feeling like you're progressing, there's not going to be that many motivating days. And that's why you have to rely on discipline and on structure as opposed to motivation. Motivation is an emotion ultimately. So that means it's going to be fleeting. And it's also going to be depending on where you are at the time. And you're not in a good place. So motivation is not going to be the biggest thing, that's the biggest contributor to your success. Is going to be discipline, and it's going to be activity, and it's ultimately going to be output. And you have to consistently output what you need to do. And I would argue she would have found a job in a year. Had she every 365 days, she had been putting out activity, but she wasn't able to maintain that discipline. And so there's been missed opportunities, and that's called an opportunity cost. And time is an opportunity cost that you can't get back. But all you can do is move forward and make sure that you learn the lesson and that you can actually do that from there.
Myself, I am figuring out who I want to be and what I want to do, and there are so many different pathways that I can take because I just
Scattered. I told
enjoy
you she's
doing that many
scattered.
things. I'm like a universal puzzle piece. The problem with that is there's just so many opportunities.
Didn't I tell you she's scattered? She literally compared herself to a puzzle piece.
And it's too much. Like, I'm overwhelmed with opportunities, and that sounds so negative and so ungrateful, but like, my path has never been this open and unplanned in my life before. I've always been able to have a backup plan and a backup to that backup plan, but this time I don't even have an inkling of a plan. So yeah, 1 year later, if I could give any advice, continue to be open-minded. Don't count yourself out. Find hobbies, do something creative. Try to find something to smile about. Go outside and let the sun kiss your face. And don't beat yourself up. Do not tie your worth to your job, to your role, to whatever. Do not tie your identity to any of that, because all of it can change in a blink of an eye. And then what happens when your
That's
job
true.
is gone? Does that mean that you're gone too? So yeah,
That's
I'm
true.
sorry to anybody who is struggling right now, but you're not alone. And
Yeah, you shouldn't tie your identity to your job, but I would argue part of your identity for your job was that you were structured and regimented. And so you can't lose that identity either. You cannot lose that identity either. And again, she's scattered. She's all over the place. And she needs to get focused. She needs to get focused because, again, this is going to be a slippery slope and it's going to be hard to come back from. You need to be trying to find another job. You need to be getting a job, preferably another corporate job, so that you can continue that type of experience. But you have to be disciplined. You have to be disciplined, and you have to continue being consistent and trying to be as effective as you possibly can. As effective as you possibly can. I had a point, but I forgot it. I should have just interrupted, but
I didn't realize how job hunting can affect your mental health this much. I don't think people talk about how draining this process is. I'm trying to be open and vulnerable just because I'm hoping there's some people out there that can relate. But like, some days I get up and I'm so happy, I'm so enthusiastic. And there's days like this where I'm still laying in my bed at 1 p.m., just distraught, depressed, sad, scared because I don't know what the unknown is. And like Monday through Friday, I'm treating it like a 9 to 5. Like, I'm applying to jobs, making several cover letters, uploading my resume. I've even went as far as to do like AI help, which obviously, AI is probably what's taking my job. But I even have a Google Sheets of every company I've applied to, but I stopped at like 100 or I think 127 because it was too overbearing. But I have the company I applied to, the type of job, the location, the date I applied, and where I applied. So if it was like LinkedIn, company website, Indeed, whatever. So yeah, I'm just sharing my honest experience. This is me right now. But I'm gonna try to remain positive and I'm gonna keep updating you guys. I didn't.
So what's the main takeaway from this? The main takeaway is that everybody is just ultimately blanket and umbrella applying to jobs. Everybody is just basically mass applying. So what that should be an indication of is a shift. And if you're savvy, you can recognize the shift and you're going to act accordingly. And by act accordingly, we're moving away from mindless, like she said, she's post grad, but yet she's mindlessly applying to jobs and she's still doing the cover letter method. Just send the resume and let that be it. If you haven't been able to tell by now, you have to be strategic now. That's what they want to see. You have to be strategic. You have to do something outside of the ordinary that either gives a reflection of why you're different as an individual, maybe it's your personality, whatever. You have to be able to put a sprinkle of that in there, or you have to be able to differentiate why you professionally are different as an individual and why that will contribute to the business outcomes that the corporations are ultimately trying to achieve. And so ultimately you have to show a little bit of initiative and you have to think a little bit outside of the box. Because like she just said, she's possibly getting replaced by AI. And AI can do everything aside from think outside of the box. So that is our edge still to this day as human beings. But people aren't wanting to think outside of the box. So if companies have AI, then you're not showing personality, which is also something that AI doesn't have, and you're not showing ingenuity to be able to think outside of the box, then you are pretty much useless in their eyes, and business is cutthroat. So don't kill the messenger. That's just the fact of the matter that I've noticed through observation and pattern recognition to say, okay, there's a shift. Adjustments have to be made. And you don't have to like it or agree with it, but it's real. And so I address reality. If you haven't been able to tell yet, I'm a realist. I just focus on what's real and what's here. And I just make those adjustments from there. And most people will be wise to do the same. Y'all, we'll leave it there for today. If you could like the video, I greatly appreciate it. Only takes a second, and it actually helps out more than you know. And also, if you could hype the video. Hype is a new feature that YouTube offers where it helps smaller content creators like myself. And basically, when you hype, it actually pushes us to the extent that it pushes the larger content creators. So you just press the hype button and it shows the points. And since I am a smaller creator, a smaller channel, we actually get more points per hype, and hype was designed for smaller channels. So that's why we get more points. But if you come across a video and you don't see the hype button, then it's probably been over 7 days, and hype usually vanishes after 7 days. So it's usually best practice if you want to hype a video to just go ahead and hype while the iron is hot on a newer video. And also, if you want to become a member, the join button's on the video. And what becoming a member of the DXU family will come with is you would get badges next to your comments where people will be able to see that you're a member whenever you leave a comment, as well as you will get access to early content and exclusive content that is not available to the general public. So again, if you want to become a member, join button's right there. But until then, I'll catch you in the next video.